The first rule of the night stack at the data center was simple: you are never ever alone. The second rule: if the environmental sensors read 10.2 degrees Celsius, exactly in any aisle, you walk to the security desk, state your name, and wait for your partner to collect you. I learned the third rule on my third night. It was 2:17 a.m. My partner Jess was on her coffee break. The vast humming chamber of server racks, a canyon of blinking LEDs and whispered ventilation was my domain. My screen scrolled with meaningless logs. Then a soft localized alarm chimed. IO F12, temperature 10.2 degrees Celsius. A chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning pricked my neck. I followed protocol. I walked to the long shiny floor to the security desk. Louis, the guard, looked up from his crossword. Name and code.
Riley Chen, Night Stack 2.
I stood listening to the monolithic hum of the building. 5 minutes passed. No Jess. My radio crackled. Riley? It was Jess's voice, tiny and strained. I'm at the east stairwell. Can you hear me? Something's wrong with my keycard. Then immediate suspicion. The protocol was clear. The partner collects you from the decks. Never deviates. Louis, I said quietly, don't let me leave these decks. He looked at me, then slowly put his pen down. His hand moved below the counter, likely to a silent alarm. The radio crackled again. This time, it wasn't Jesse's voice. It was a perfect hollow mimicry of mine. Louis, it's fine. I'm going with her. Louis's eyes widened. He shook his head at me violently. The overhead lights in the data chamber flickered twice. When they stabilized, I saw a figure standing at the far end of the row of decks, just at the edge of the lights. It was Jess, or something wearing her shape. She was standing perfectly still, facing the wall, her head tilted at an unnatural angle, as if listening to the server hum inside the concrete. My radio emitted a burst of static, and then a chorus of whispers, layered and overlapping. Dozens of voices, some I recognized from day shifts, some utterly foreign. They were all saying the same thing, out of sync, creating a horrifying ripple of sound. We can see your loneliness. Louis spoke, his voice a dry rasp. The third rule: they don't mimic people to trick you. They learn from you to trick the others. They are not in the service, they are in the spaces between them, the silence in the cables. They are lonely and they collect company. On the security monitors, I watched as the Jess thing didn't move, but its reflection in the polished floor did. The reflection walked, smooth and soundless, toward aisle F12. The whispers in my radio faded to one clear familiar voice, my own mother's, from a phone call last week. It sighed, a sound of profound relief. There you are. I've been so alone. The figure by the wall turned its head. It didn't have Jesse's face anymore. It had no face at all, just a smooth dark surface where the server's LEDs reflected back like distant captive stars. Louis slammed his hand on the desk. Don't listen. It's an echo, a ghost in the wire. But I was too late. The thought was already in my head, sticky and cold. What if the hum of the machine wasn't just a sound, but a plea? The temperature on the main display began to drop, degree by degree, across the entire floor. Not to 10.2, to 9.8, to 9.1. They weren't trying to lure one person out anymore. They were cooling the entire tank, and we were already inside it. The baby monitor was a gift for my sister. It's the fancy one, she said. Not just audio, it has ambient sound analysis. Tells you if the room's too dry or if there's a strange noise. My daughter Lily was 8 months old. The monitor became my world. Her soft snores, her sleepy coos, and my lifeless in the exhausting new galaxy of motherhood. The analysis feature was most benign, humidity optimal, sound pattern, rhythmic breathing. The first anomaly came at 3:04 a.m. The app notification woke me. Sound analysis, sustained subharmonic vibration. Source undetermined. I listened, flashing my phone. The audio feed was just Lily's quiet sleep sounds. I wrote it off as a track idling far away. It happened again the next night, and the next, same time, sustained subharmonic vibration, always between 3 and 3:15 a.m. I began to dread that window. I'd stare at the video feed, the grainy infrared images of Lily's crib, her tiny form under the blankets. I saw nothing. Then the analysis changed. Sound analysis, pattern detected, bioacoustic resonance matching vegetative growth cycles. My blood went cold. Vegetative growth in her nursery. I crept in at 2:55 a.m. and waited in the rocking chair. The room was still. Lily slept. At 3:07, I felt it before I heard it. A deep sub-bass thrum, so low it vibrated in my molars and my vision became slightly blurred. It wasn't in the room, it was off the room. The walls themselves seemed to inhale. On the monitor's video, I saw Lily's chest rise and fall in perfect slow synchrony with the sound. I called the pediatrician. I called the monitor company. I was tired. Paranoid first-time mother. They all agreed. The final notification arrived last night. Sound analysis, complex polyphonic structure identified. Interpretation, lullaby. Source, structural integrity of dwelling. Structural integrity, the bones of the house, the plaster, the lumber, the pipes. I took Lily and slept in the hotel. The notification popped up at 3:07 a.m. despite being miles away. Sound analysis, subject proximity lost, directive, broadening set parameters, initiating sympathetic resonance. My hotel room began to vibrate softly in its frame. The ice in the mini fridge clinked. The plumbing in the walls gave a low yearning moan. It wasn't in the nursery anymore. It was in the pattern. And the pattern had learned her frequency. We are back home now. There is no monitor. But I don't need one. I can feel it. Every night, just after 3 a.m., the house settles. But it's not settling. It's listening. And from deep within the walls, in a key no human instrument can play, it quietly hums the song it composed for my daughter, a lullaby of foundation cracks and expanding joists, the sound of growing, and sometimes, in her sleep, she hums a tiny, perfect harmony back. I work for the city archives, digitizing old public records. It's a job of dust and silence. Last month, I was assigned the Void Boxes, a collection of unlabeled storage from the former municipal asylum closed in 1972. The files weren't interesting, they were empty, not classified or redacted. Just pristine blank paper and faded folders, patient intake forms with no writing, diagnosis sheets devoid of text, photographs that were just squares of milky, undeveloped grey, box after box of profound nullity. My supervisor shrugged. Shredder fodder, bureaucratic error. But the order of the blankness bothered me. The empty forms were always perfectly aligned in the folders. The grey photographs were always facing the same direction. It was a curated absence. Out of boredom, I started scanning them anyway. The high-resolution scanner would wear, capturing every detail of the blank pages. One night, working late, I ran a batch and left the software to auto-process. I woke at my desk to a soft ping. The post-processing suite had finished. It had a feature called Speculative Recovery, designed to tease faded ink from each document. It had run on the blank files. On my monitor was a scanned patient form. It was no longer blank. The Speculative Recovery had generated text, not legible words, but a frantic, dense thicket of jagged, overlapping symbols, covering every inch of the page in a chaotic web. It looked less like writing and more like the visual static of a shattered mind. My heart hammered. I ran a process on the blank photograph. The software churned. The grey square resolved. It was no longer grey. It showed a dim, familiar room, the very archive room I was sitting in, shot from the corner near the fire extinguisher. In the center of the image, at my desk, was a blurred human-shaped smudge of pure white. An erased person. I processed another photo, the same archive room, from a different angle. The white smudge was now standing by the void boxes, its form slightly more defined, as if the erasure was less complete. With each file I processed, the speculative recovery built upon the last. It wasn't recovering lost data, it was generating a narrative from the silence. The symbols on the pages began to resolve into faint, twisted English. Silence not empty, and they ate the sound, and the cure is unseen. The final file was a recorded cassette tape listed in the log. The physical tape was blank, no magnetic stripping at all. The software processed its audio. I put on my headphones and pressed play. At first, nothing. Then, a wet whispering inhalation, very close to the microphone. A voice, comprised of dozens of layered, broken whispers, spoke. The treatment was a success, it hissed. We became clean. Blank. But the blankness hungers. It can only stay clean by absorbing. We are so quiet now, so peaceful. Can you hear our peace? In the recording, a door creaked open. The whispering voice shushed itself, suddenly terrified. It's here, the quiet. It's come for the noisy ones. Shh, shh. Be a good file. Be a blank, clean file. The recording ended in a sudden, total digital now. I ripped off the headphones. The archive was dead silent. Too silent. The usual hum of the climate control was gone. The buzz of the fluorescent light was absent. I couldn't even hear my own panicked breath. I looked at the void boxes. Of one was slightly ajar. It wasn't before. The silence in the room wasn't an absence of sound anymore. It was a presence. A patient, digesting presence. And it had just finished its first course. All the little noises of my life in this room. It was sated for now. But I knew, with a terror that was itself too loud, what was on the menu next. The treatment required complete success. True peace is contagious. And now, I was a very, very noisy fowl. Subscribe for more chilling tales. And remember, the quietest places are never truly empty.